Okay, everybody, I'm back with the black for Throne of Eldraine. I hope you liked the first two, the white and the blue set reviews that I did. I think they would really help you, so you should go back and watch them if you haven't. I'm going to try not to go over everything that I went over in the previous ones. If I see something I think you might need to know about, I'll let you know. But I'm basically just going to tell you what I think about each card, if it has limited or constructed potential, and just generally my thoughts on it. I'm not a pro or anything, but I do like to tell people what I think. So, okay, we're going to start with Ayara, the first of Loch Thwain. It's black, black, black for a 2/3 legendary elf noble. When Ayara, first of Loch Thwain, or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I really like that already. The 3 mana 2/3 that's draining your opponent each time. I'm in for that. That's good. It also has another ability that I would like to use a few times. Sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. The thing I like about that is, I like drawing cards. That's personally just me. But you don't want to be doing that too much because you do need to have some creatures to help you attack and block and do stuff like that. But if a creature's about to die anyway, you might as well just sacrifice it. So this is a good pick. This is high. I like it. I like it a lot. Next, we have probably the best removal in the set that you're going to see a lot in Limited. It's called Bacon to a Pie. It's 2 black, black for an instant that says destroy target creature. Create a food token. The food token is an artifact that with the ability of 2 and tap it, sacrifice it to gain 3 life. I love everything about it. It's 4 mana. It destroys a creature and creates a food token. So, yep, if you are in black, you want every one of these you see. If you are not in black and you see these late, you want to get into black, because that either means black is wide open or the people drafting black don't know what they're doing and didn't listen to me. So, take Bacon to a Pie highly. It's a great card. Next, we have the Barrow Witches. It's 4 and a black for a 3/4 human warlock. It says when Barrow Witches enters the battlefield, return target knight card from your graveyard to your hand. Knights are huge in Throne of Eldraine. It's one of the major creature types. So, if you have knights, this is going to be a good card. It's a 5 mana 3/4 Gravedigger in that case, which is awesome. If you don't have many knights, a 5 mana 3/4 creature is not very good. So you really want that secondary ability to make this card worth it. Next, we have Bell of the Brawl. I love the name. It's 2 and a black for a 3/2 human knight. See, there we go. There's a knight right there for you. We have them. It's got menace, and when Bell of the Brawl attacks, other knights you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So I'm taking this even if it's the only knight in my deck. It's a 3/2 menace for 3. It's awesome, and I guarantee you're going to have more than that for knights because there's just a lot of knights. So, this is a card you want, for sure. Next, we have another knight. It's a Black Lance Paragon. It's 1 and a black for a 3/1 human knight. It has flash. When Black Lance Paragon enters the battlefield, target knight gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. I'm usually in for a 3/1 for 2 anyway, in most decks. This has flash, so it can come in and kill a creature that your opponents weren't expecting. And it can give another knight Death Touch and Lifelink to help you gain life and kill off other creatures. I love everything about this. Absolutely take it highly. It's going to be awesome. Next, we have Bog Naughty. I don't even know what that name means. But it's 3 black, black for a 3/3 fairy with flying. You can pay 2 and a black and sacrifice a food to give target creature -3/-3 until end of turn. Usually these come with a food, but this one doesn't. So you're definitely going to need other abilities to make this worth it, because a 5 mana 3/3 just really isn't worth it. But if you can use that ability even once to kill a creature, you're golden. Yeah, you definitely want this. So make sure you have food synergies in order for that to work. Next, we have the Cauldron Familiar. This is a single black mana for a 1/1 cat. And this cat looks amazingly like my cat at home, Stanley, which is kind of cute. But anyway, it says when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can also sacrifice a food to return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield. Much like if you leave food out, my cat will come running. So I like this card a lot. It's never going to die because you're going to have food around, especially if you're using the, what was that, Bognaughty from earlier? I mean, you're going to want food around. So I like this. And I even like the fact that it drains for 1, and that works with, what was that first card that we saw? The Ayara, the First of Lochthwain. It just doubles up on that drainage. So, yeah, I like this. I like this one a lot. It's not going to make me go into black, but if I'm already in black, I'll take this. Next, we have the big boy. We have the Cauldron of Eternity. It's a 10 black for a legendary artifact. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard, so it doesn't necessarily cost 12 mana. In fact, it's probably going to cost 2 mana. If you've made your deck properly, this is going to cost 2. Whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay, yep. I mean, that way you're not just constantly cycling through the same creatures over and over again. That's why it does that. Because its main ability is 2 and a black and tap it, pay 2 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. That's just fantastic. Take this highly. This is going to be in every standard deck that can play it. This is going to be in commander decks. This is going to be everywhere. You're going to know the Cauldron of Eternity and everything about it within like a few weeks. So take it highly. It's going to be great. Next we have the Cauldron's Gift. It's 4 and a black for a sorcery. Has Adamant. If at least 3 black mana was spent to cast this spell, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. You may choose a creature card in your graveyard. If you do, return it to the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. You want to use the Adamant on this, because putting the top 4 cards of your library in the graveyard is going to help fuel the second part. Sometimes you might even cast this with no creatures in your graveyard, hoping just to get one from the top 4. I don't recommend that too often, but it is good to do just in case. Good to know at least. So I really like this card. I really like it a lot. Next we have the Clackbridge Troll. It's 3 black for a troll. 8/8. Huge for 5 mana. Must have downside, right? Trample and haste. Are you kidding me? For real? I love it. I love this card. Okay, where's the downside? When Clackbridge Troll enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 3 0/1 white goat creature tokens. So what? It's got trample and haste. It's going to run those goats right over. Next one. At the beginning of combat on your turn, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If a player does tap Clackbridge Troll, you gain 3 life and you draw a card. Upside. Oh, this is like super bomb level card. I love this card in every single possible way. Take it highly in draft, take it first pick, then just go ham with it. I can see it being played in constructed. It's that level strong. So yeah, you want to play this card. I'm a big fan of it. Epic Downfall is next. It's 1 a black for a sorcery. Exile target creature with converted mana cost 3 or greater. That's it. And I love it. It gets rid of anything that's bothering you. Most things that are really big and scary cost more than 3 mana. So you want every single one of these in every black deck you have. Just you see it, you take it if you're in black. 100%. Eye Collector is next. It's a single black mana for a 1/1 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. This looks like it's in the mill deck. That's really the only place for it. Unless like you have the cauldron and then you want to put stuff into your graveyard. But if you're not doing that or have any synergies with it, you don't want it. You want to let other people take it. But if you are, that's awesome. If you're in like the mill strategy, sure, go for it. Next we have a Festive Funeral. Aren't they all? It's 4 and a black for an instant. It says target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Not creature cards, just cards. This is generally going to be a 5 mana. Late in the game, just destroy target creature. So, yeah, I would take this. I wouldn't take it as highly as like Bacon a Pie or the Epic Downfall. But if you want removal, this set has a lot of it. Next is Foreboding Fruit. It's 2 and a black for a sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. If that were all it was, I would say yes, play it. I always want to draw 2 cards for 3 mana. And losing 2 life isn't that big of a deal. But if you cast it with 3 black mana, you get to add a food token. So it kind of pays for its life for itself. Or you can use that fruit, or that fruit, because it's Foreboding Fruit. That food for, the Bog Naughty or whatever else that you want to use it for. So I really like this card. I can even see this being played in Constructed. Like in Standard at least. Probably not Modern or anything like that. Let's not be crazy. It's a sorcery. But, yeah, I could see this being played in some Constructed decks, especially like a mono black deck. Up next, we have Forever Young. I want to be forever young. It's 1 and a black for a sorcery that says put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library and then draw a card. I like it. I like it a lot. Generally, it's probably just going to be like a Raise Dead. Puts a couple things, puts 1 card basically into your hand through drawing it. But if you have multiple copies of creatures in your graveyard, you want to put them all on top and just draw them from now on, do it. If you don't have a creature in your graveyard, guess what? It just cycles itself. 1 and a black, draw a card. So, I love everything about it. You want to take those. Next, we have the Foulmire Knight. It's a 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch Zombie Knight. If it were just that, that's actually a playable card. So, we actually get upside. It has an adventure on it. It's called Profane Insight. It's 2 and a black for an instant that says you draw a card and you lose a life. If you need it without casting the adventure, go ahead, play it. You know if you're going to need it, if they have like a 5/5 without trample. And yeah, just play your Death Touch. But if you can cast the adventure too, then you're going to be golden at that point. This isn't something you want to play on turn 1 as just a 1/1 Death Touch for no reason. Save it, cast the adventure if you can, because that's well worth it. Next we have the Giant's Skewer. It's 1 and a black for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a creature, create a food token. I like that. It turns the creature into a food. That's cute. I like that. And equip 3. I think I said in the blue review that I didn't like +1/+2 with an equip 3. This one's okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do like the fact that you can get some food out of it, and increasing power is always more important. This, I'm going to say, yeah, you having 1 in your deck is probably fine. I wouldn't want more than 1, though. 1 is more than enough. Next, we have the Lash of Thorns. It's a single black mana for an instant that says target creature gets +2/+1 and Death Touch until end of turn. This is your typical battle trick. It seems fine. Increases power and gives it Death Touch. So, yeah, you're going to want to play those. I mean, maybe not a ton, because it's just a removal spell is basically all it is. And then if they return your creature or do anything to that creature, it's kind of a waste. But It's fine. It is what it is. If you need a battle trick, just take the one. You're not going to need too many of them. Next, we have the Locthwain Paladin. It's 3 and a black for a 3/2 human knight with menace. You can see here, you remember the Bell of the Brawl was a 3 mana 3/2 with menace. So this one already costs an extra mana, so hopefully we get something good out of it. It has Adamant. If at least 3 black mana was spent to cast this spell, Locthwain Paladin enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, making a 4/3 menace. Okay. If you're mostly black, this is a great card. If you're not, it's not that great of a card. You really want to use the Adamant with this one. Otherwise, it's just a 3/2 for 4, and that's not great. It's fine, I guess, if it must, but yeah, I'm all set with that. You want the Adamant. Next, we have the Lost Legion. It's 1 black for a 2/3 Spirit Knight. I really like the art on this card, too. I just like the fact that you can see through the Lost Legion, and I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot. It says when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. So 3 mana, 2/3 is your average, power toughness for 3 mana. And I like scrying too, so this seems like a fine card. It's just an average playable card. In limited, obviously, only. Next we have the Malevolent Noble. It's 1 and a black for a 2/2 human noble. It has 2, sacrifice an artifact or another creature to put a +1/+1 counter on Malevolent Noble. So, let's see, I'm not a huge fan of this. I do like the fact that it lets you sacrifice more than one thing at a time, but I'm not into this card at all. It's a 2 mana 2/2 that I guess you could sacrifice food if you wanted to, but I haven't seen a lot in black to get a lot of food. So, yeah, I'm kind of down on this card. If you need playables, if it's card number 23, okay, but that's going to be about it. Next, we have the Memory Theft. It's 2 and a black for a sorcery. It says target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. You may put a card that has an adventure that player owns from exile into that player's graveyard. This seems really bad unless your opponent has a lot of adventures in their deck. Because if you can kind of snipe 2 at once, then okay, that's worth 3 mana. Otherwise, I'm down on this. This is a sideboard only if your opponent is playing a high adventure deck. Next, we have the Murderous Rider. This is a good card. Okay, we got it costs 1 black for a 2/3 zombie knight with lifelink. When it dies, put it on the bottom of its owner's library. If it were just that, I would say, cool. Yeah, this is a playable card. But it gets way, way better. It has an adventure on it that's called Swift End. 1 black for an instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. This is a constructed all-star. This is a limited all-star. Take it highly. Take it. You're going to want it. You want it in your constructed decks. You want it in your limited decks. It's everything you could ever possibly want on a creature. Next, we have the Oathsworn Knight, which I swear we've had that name before. It's 1 black for a 0/0 human knight. When it enters the battlefield, put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. It also attacks each combat if able. If damage would be dealt to Oathsworn Knight while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove a +1/+1 counter from it. So, if you've ever watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail, hey, it's the Black Knight. So, yeah, absolutely. It's funny, it's great, it's a 4/4 for 3. So, take it highly, laugh, tell your friends about it. Next, we have the Order of Midnight. It's a 1 and a black for a 2/2 human knight with flying and can't block. We said earlier, a 2/2 flyer for 2 is what you want to be playing. So I love it already. It also has an adventure attached to it, which makes it even more pickable. It says return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Love it. I really do. I love everything about this card too. Take this one highly. I like both halves. I could see this being played in Constructed, in Human Knight deck. And so yeah, you're definitely going to want this card. It's so good. In this one too, you don't necessarily need to use the adventure. Just playing the 2/2 flyer for 2 is often going to win you a few games. Next is Piper of the Swarm. It's 1 and a black for a 1/3 human warlock. Rats you control have menace. I haven't noticed any other rats so far. But it creates them. You 1 and a black and tap it to create a 1/1 black rat creature token. Okay, cool. I like that. Just keep making rats, and then you can pay 2 black and tap it, sacrifice 3 rats to gain control of any creature. Whoa! This is cool. I like this one a lot. I don't think it's strong enough to make it into Constructed, but in Limited, I would love to just make a rat every turn and then either use it to block or just to gain control of a creature while I'm trying to get the rest of my plan into place. So it's a high pick in Limited. Constructed, I don't know. I would have to see what other people can come up with because I'm not a big fan of it. Next, we have something that's an all-star everywhere. Rankle, the Master of Pranks. It's 2 black for a 3/3 Fairy Rogue Legend with flying and haste. Okay, stop it right there. 3/3 flying haste for 4 in black. So good. Yeah, you're playing that. But you know what? It has huge upside. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, which, by the way, it's going to a lot, because there's not a lot of high toughness flyers that your opponents are going to have, especially in Limited. In Constructed, even not that many. I'm telling you. You get to choose any number, which means you get to choose any one of these 3 things, is basically what it means. Each player discards a card, which, sure, if you can empty your hand out before, then it's just making your opponent, and sometimes you just want stuff in your graveyard too. Next, each player loses 1 life and then draws a card, because, you want to draw cards. And then each player sacrifices a creature. Take in mind, when you do these, if you choose, say, all 3, they happen in order. So you have to discard before you draw, just so everyone knows what's going on. But yeah, this card's great. I love it. If this is the only creature you have, you probably don't want to have each player sacrifice a creature unless they also only have one that you need to get rid of immediately. Also, you have to choose it first. So say you draw your card and it's a kill spell and you had already chosen 3, you still have to sacrifice him in that case. Just so you know. Alright, next we have the Reaper of Night. It is 5 black for a 4/5 Spectre. When it attacks, if the defending player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, it gains flying until end of turn. If that's all this was, I would say it's pure garbage. A 7 mana 4/5, even a 7 mana 4/5 flyer would be pretty bad. It does have an adventure, so let's hope it increases it. It's 3 and a black. Target opponent discards 2 cards. I don't like either one of these cards. They're both overcosted, and I'm not a big fan. Maybe together they'll be an okay card. Maybe a 23rd type card. But at 7 mana, you're often not going to ever be able to play it. And a 4 mana discard 2, I guess it might get rid of the last 2 cards in their hand. So it's okay. But yeah, I'm out on this unless I need playable cards, and then I'm barely taking it. Next we have, I think this is a reprint. It's called Reeve's Soul. It's 1 and a black sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. I like it. There's just a lot of creatures in Limited that have power 3 or less. Now you're not going to get rid of the things that really are going to scare you. And it's sorcery, so it's not even instant speed. So take the other removal ahead of it. But this one isn't bad either. There's just a lot of removal in black. So take it, but the other ones are so much better. Next, we have Revenge of Ravens. It's 3 and a black for an enchantment. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I kind of like it. I do. I think this... it doesn't seem like much for 4 mana. It's a 4 mana do-nothing spell. But that kind of thing adds up. If they attack with a 1/1, that does nothing anymore. Anything with 1 power, you're instantly gaining that life back, and they're the ones losing life. So, I think this is better than it looks, and you're going to like it. I probably don't want more than... You know what? If you have like 4 of these in your deck, you're not going to be able to be attacked, because they'll just die immediately. Maybe I actually do like this card. Maybe I do. Okay, I think I do. I say with a huge smile on my face. Yeah, okay. That looks like fun. Looks fun to play. Smitten Swordmaster. It's 1 and a black for a 2/1 human knight with lifelink. Okay, that's fine. I like a 2 mana 2/1 with lifelink. It does have an adventure also. It's got Curry Favor. It's a single black mana. You gain X life and each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of knights you control. So in the knight deck, that is huge. But you know what? Anytime you can do that, actually, I kind of like it. I'm in for this card. I really like it. I like both halves. I mean, top deck late in the game, it's not very good. But maybe if you have enough knights, you can kill them with the adventure. So, I like it. I'm going to be playing it. Spectre's Shriek. It's a single black mana for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player exiles that card. If a non-black card is exiled this way, exile a card from your hand. So you can 2-for-1 yourself to get rid of any card in your opponent's hand, non-land, of course. And if they're playing black, then it's really strong. This is definitely sideboard type card. You don't want this in your main deck. You really don't want to 2-for-1 yourself. You really don't. So, yeah, no, only sideboard. Next we have Sir Conrad the Grim, 3 black for a 5/4 human knight. 5/4 human knight for 5. Okay, I'm in on it already. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature leaves your graveyard, Sir Conrad the Grim deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay, no, this is awesome. So, even if you're milling them, they're going to be taking damage. And if you're milling yourself and creatures go there, they take 2 damage. If you have the Cauldron, they're taking damage. So, everything about this is great. It has another ability too on top of it. 1 and a black. Each player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Oh, so good. This card's awesome. This card is so awesome. Yeah, I mean, I know it costs 5, but it's a 5/4 and does damage all over the place. Yeah, take it highly. It's going to be cool. You're going to like it. Tempting Witch, 2 and a black for a 1/3 human warlock. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. It's obviously the apple that's in its hand. You can pay 2 and sacrifice a food for target player to lose 3 life. Obviously giving a poisoned apple. It's the reverse. I like it. That's fun. I don't really like it in my actual deck, but I like the flavor of the card. Unless you really need food, but no, I'm not playing this card. A 3 mana 1/3. Nope, sorry. Not going to happen. If you have a way to get a ton of food and you can keep doing that, okay, sure. But that's the only reason you want this. Next we have the Wicked Guardian. It's 3 and a black for a 4/2 human noble. When Wicked Guardian enters the battlefield, you may have it deal 2 damage to another creature you control. If you do, draw a card. Oh yeah, 4/2 for 4 is okay. I mean, it's going to die for sure. And if you have a creature that you can deal 2 damage to draw a card, that's good. But I mean, if you don't, you're just going to be killing off your creature to draw a card. I'm not a huge fan of that. Now, 4/2 creature, I'm also not a huge fan of because it does die to everything. So I'm going to say I don't like this card. It has potential to be an okay card, but I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, like overall, I like it like 30%. Is that a thing? If it is, that's the way I feel about it. Next, we have the Wishclaw Talisman. It's 1 and a black for an artifact. It says when it enters the battlefield, it has 3 wish counters. You can pay 1 and remove a wish counter from it to search your library for a card, put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. An opponent gains control of Wishclaw Talisman. Activate this ability only during your turn. I really like this card. I don't know what you think about it, but you're going to get to search your library for 2 cards. So it's already draw 2 cards. Yes, your opponent gets to draw 1 card also. But you're getting any 2 cards from your deck that you want. And I kind of like that a lot. If it was 4 mana, search your library for 2 cards, your opponent searches for 1. Okay, yes, I'd be into that. And it's on a payment plan. So I'm okay with this too. This is fun. I like this a lot. Yeah, take it highly. It's better than it looks if you don't like it. I'm telling you. Try it, play it. You're going to love it. Next, we have Witch's Vengeance. This is the last one. Wow, we just flew through this one. It's 1 black for a sorcery. Creatures of the creature type of your choice gets -3/-3 until end of turn. So most of the time, this is just going to be a kill spell for a creature with toughness 3 or less. But sometimes, say you choose knights, you're going to kill a lot of knights off. It is yours also, just kind of be wary of that. But I love this card. This card's great. I mean, especially if you're up against like a token deck, oh, you're going to be killing those tokens. Killing all of them. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking this card really highly also. So everybody, that is black. And that's what I think of it. I hope you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter. I am MTGTony. And let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how bad I am, how off I was on each card. I think I'm pretty on, but people like to tell me that I'm not. But anyway, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you when I go do the next one. Thanks for watching.